So I'm going to dive a little into the technical side of my trooper. It's still kind of the off season in Colorado, starting to get into spring, so wanted to get some work done on the front suspension axles. I broke a CV joint at the end of last year in my New Mexico trip and drove on it a couple times in the snow, but figured it's time to finally replace this thing before it breaks and gives me issues out on the trail. I've also got a front air locker that I've been meaning to install for about 6-8 months now. So I am going to get that thing in as well. I've been watching some videos, some how-to videos on like replacing the trooper's front axles, and some of these videos are just ridiculous. People like removing the front wheel bearings and all kinds of stuff, just crazy things that you don't need to do. These axles are not, they're not the easiest things to replace, but they're not nearly as difficult as most people make it sound. So I'm gonna kind of show you how to do your front axles on your trooper the easy way. This will not necessarily apply to everyone. If you just busted a CV, this will work for you most likely. If you somehow broke like the inner spline area in the differential area, this will not work. You'll have to drop the whole axle for that, which I will be doing as well in the second part of this video, I believe. So yeah, let's dive right into it. For this video, I'm working on my 1995 Isuzu Trooper. This should apply for most Troopers 92 through 97, although there are some differences, but the differences are small enough that you should be able to figure them out on your own. So you'll notice I've already jacked the car up and removed the wheels and tires. I'm not going to walk you through that. First step after this is to remove the front hubs. In my case, I have the Super Winch hubs, which have a T15 Torx screw holding them on. If you still have the factory auto lockers or the fixed hubs, which are on the 96 and 97 Troopers, they will be a little different. Basically, you just need to get whatever outer cover is on there off so that you can get to this C-clip, and then we need to remove that C-clip so that the axle is free to slide out from the hub itself. Next, we'll go ahead and remove the tie rod end. So we'll start by pulling out this cotter pin. If you still have your front sway bar, it's a good idea to remove one of the end links at this point too. And then we'll go ahead and zap off the castle nut that holds the tie rod end on. And to get the tie rod to break loose from the steering knuckle, I usually like to use a sledgehammer and give it a few good whacks. Basically, we're trying to shock it loose so that the tapered seat will kind of just fall out. Don't hit the threads on the top unless you want to mushroom them out and get your tie rod stuck. Now we need to support the bottom of the hub brake assembly so that we can remove the upper ball joint. If you've done the ball joint flip mod, inversion mod, this point is really easy because you can just remove the 3 bolts that hold the ball joint to the upper control arm. If not, you will need to remove the castle nut that holds the upper ball joint to the hub steering knuckle assembly, and then I would break that free the same way we did the tie rod end. It's also a good idea to remove the brake caliper so that we don't stretch out the brake hose and potentially damage that as we're moving around the loosened hub to get the axle out. And just make sure that once you've pulled the caliper off, you set it up somewhere. I like to zip tie it up to the brake lines or the upper control arm so that it won't fall down. And then also go ahead at this point and take off the lower shock bolt. You don't really need to do this, but I find it gives the lower control arm a little bit more movement. If your CV boot is still in one piece and attached, go ahead and pull off or cut off the clip that holds it in place. And then you can grab it and pull it back. usually like to invert it on itself so it stays out of the way and I can see what I'm doing inside there. And then basically we're going to scrape out some of the grease at the end so we can find where the clip is. It's basically a wire ring that goes around the hole, and we just need to find that wire ring and just kind of grab the edge and pop it out. And at this point you can just go ahead and pull the CV right out of its socket, and you should have enough room if you lift up the upper control arm to get it free, and then slide the other end out of the spline end out of the wheel hub. And you can see the ball bearings falling out of the CV there as I pulled out. Clearly it's been broken. And if all you're doing is replacing your axle at this point, it's a good idea to check the cup for damage and make sure that your new CV is not going to get damaged inside it. But after that, you just put your new CV in, fill it up with grease, and put your boot back over the edge and tighten it all up. For the axle removal, the other side's exactly the same. It's as easy as that. It's it took me maybe 45 minutes to pull that other side off. Obviously, you're just gonna have to jack up the car and put it on jack stands and take the wheel off and that stuff. But it's not too bad of a job. So for 99% of you that are just replacing your damaged broken CV joint, this process will be by far the quickest and easiest way to do that. If you do insist on replacing your whole front axle, including the spline that goes into the differential, you do need to essentially drop the whole front axle. So watch my next video on axle removal to go to that point. It's a lot more work, so I would strongly suggest just replacing the joints if that's all you need to do.